Hello, hunters, and I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the part 2 of our refresher course for SLA. This time, we'll talk about the supports. If you haven't watched part 1, it's about the breakers, and I'll link the video in the description and in the comments if you'd like to check it out. Alright, let's start this right away by what are supports and what do they do? Support hunters are very helpful. They are crucial to your progression. They can heal, they can cleanse debuff, and most importantly, they can increase your damage. And how do we identify if a support, how do we identify if a hunter is a support hunter? Unlike the breakers that they have this breaker icon on their skills, the supports doesn't have any identifier if they're actually a support or not. You'll be likely to check on their stats here or on their classes beside their type. If it says about something like healer, then most likely they'll be a support hunter. There are some cases that the supports aren't actually their main type. For example, like Gina here, or maybe Libora. Their main type is mage. Yep, mage. But if you go ahead and look on their skills, they can actually support, and they're also good at it. Example on Gina, you can see on her passive, she can increase attack, fire damage, heal, and increase power gauge of the entire team. That's what a support do. He or she buffs the entire team. So yeah, some hunters will have this exclusion that even if their main type classes is mage or whatever, but if you look closely on their skills, if they can heal, debuff, then you can consider them as a support. Now, on the next question, when should you use a support hunter? In my opinion, you'll need a support hunter on any content. You cannot miss, or it's not advisable to not bring a support hunter anywhere you go. For example, on the encore missions, you'll need Hansemi here, since the boss is weak to wind, and of course you'll bring wind hunters to make this fast clear, or to clear this faster. As I mentioned, the support can heal in case you get hit by a large damage, or in case you got poisoned, knocked up, stun. Some support like Hansemi can cleanse that debuff, meaning you can get out of that status, or debuff status right away. So, and lastly, the supports can increase the damage of your hunters, which is most likely, or 100% of the time, you would like that. Not just for the big numbers on the screen, but also to make sure that you clear the content on the time limit. Because, as we know, soul leveling is about time limits. The faster you clear, the better. And if you don't clear it on the time limit, you fail. So with that, support is very valuable and should always be on your team. Now let's go ahead and talk about the current supports in the game. Go in the Hunter Codex, and again, we'll mention them in no particular order. We have Shimizu Akari, Ayla Wright, Hansami, Malin, Fisher, Gina, Libora, and on the SSRs, SR, we have Lee Jo-hee and Park Hee-jin. And yeah, those are the currently released supports on the game. And if I may suggest, these are my top 3. Did I miss Min? Yeah, I think I missed telling about Min as a support as well. But yeah, going back, here are my top 3 recommendations of the supports that you need to build. They can be used in any content. They're not just specific on their element. On the 3rd spot, I have Malin Fisher. As a support, she can do a lot for the hunters. She can increase a lot of stats: attack, defense, crit rate, core attack, decrease damage taken. Very helpful for Alicia. Then for Sung Jinwoo, she can increase the user's attack or Sung Jinwoo's attack by 16% and decreases Sung Jinwoo's damage taken by 16%, which is a very good all-around passive or skill. You can Jinwoo can utilize this or Malin's skill wherever or whatever content. Next is Ayla Wright. On the hunters, there's also a lot of skills or let's say buffs she can provide. Can provide a shield or provide ultimate damage skill or ultimate skill damage. Depends on the current state of Ayla. Depends if she has the light or dark element present. Then for Sung Jinwoo, her support skill grants a lot. It can just heal, it can increase damage. It can increase Sung Jinwoo's damage, a shield, and crit rate. That's a lot. Ideally, I'll just basing on skill, Ayla can even go on top 1, but I'm just biased with my boy here, Min Byung-gu. He's my top support, in my opinion. As a hunter, he can buff the crit hit damage by 12%. The crit rate, and another crit hit damage equal to the additional or extra crit damage of Min Byung-gu. On A1, he can increase the crit rate and crit damage of everyone on the team just by standing. That's, his aura per se. Just by standing there, then, crit stats free. Very good. Then lastly, on his A5, he can increase the ultimate damage of the team member, or the highest total power team member by 50%, which is a very good burst damage. For example, if you have Cha and or Tamas. Then for his support skill, he can increase the damage taken of the enemy's hit and heal Sung Jinwoo. So those are my top 3. Malin, Ayla, and Min. Anyway, moving on to the next question on this course. What are the best artifacts for the support hunters? Ideally, you'd like to have the Burning Blessing for your main supports. I know it is kind of hard to get the right pieces, but if you can get at least 4, or ideally you need to max it for more damage, not more damage for yourself, but more damage to your main or to your carry. On 8 piece, it can increase the user's damage dealt by 20% and restores 0.2 times 25. That's all. No, I'm bad at math. But anyway, yeah, it can heal. So basically, this works like the outstanding connection. After tagging out using support skill or ultimate, this will trigger. The burning blessing also makes your hunter have the most, or you can push the support's total power by equipping full 8 piece rather than equipping the other artifacts. So that's also a plus for using the burning blessing. But aside the burning blessings, here are some alternatives. You can get the Guardian, 4-piece Guardian, if your support has a shield like Hansami, Akari, because they can trigger the passive of this set pretty much every time. So just by giving your team a shield, they'll deal 10% damage. And also they'll have a bigger shield acquisition, or they can provide more shield. Aside that, you can also go to Noble Sacrifice, but only if your support hunter scales with HP like Malin. This will increase their HP and increase their team members' attack by 8%. You don't have to worry about the decreasing of users' attack because their support, if they scales with HP, then you don't need any attack stats from them. One hit kill, usable, but situational. This will increase the user's ultimate cooldown. For example, you can equip this on Malin to further increase or decrease his ultimate cooldown, but not ideal. I'd rather go with Destroyer, so you can also increase the power gauge of your team while also starting with 50% power gauge, meaning to have a faster time to increase or to use your ultimate. But one hit kill, for example, I'd like to see this with Gina since her ultimate also hits very hard. But yeah, very situational for a support hunter. Better go with Destroyer. Then for the right side, the necklace artifacts, you'd like the Sylph's Blessing. Oh no, there's one more, Angel in White, which is just like the Noble Sacrifice, but increases only just the highest total power on your team and increases the healing gift. So if you can make your carry to be the highest total power on that team, then Angel in White would be much better than the Noble Sacrifice. Now moving on to the right side artifacts, you'd like the Outstanding Connection, like just like the lower version of Blessing because it's just 4-piece. Sylph's Blessing, very situational. And yeah, that's it. Sylph's Blessing, it increases the team's elemental weakness damage dealt by 5%. The 4-piece can stack it until 3 times and increase the duration to 60%. In total, you can increase the elemental weakness damage by 15%. But yeah, very situational. I don't recommend using this unless you are building that support into a specific encounter. I'd rather go with Outstanding Connection, but it really is better to go Blessing. Last question would be, can Sang Jinwoo have a support build? Yes, definitely. As we've mentioned also on our first video, Sang Jinwoo can actually be a support on some contents. For example, on the guild boss, Power of Destruction, and that's it. On this type of game mode, you'd like to be a supporting character rather than the main character. For some reason, your support will deal a lot more damage than you, even if you have the highest attack you can. So, with that being said, it's better to have a support build on this game mode to further improve your score. If you want to make Sang Jinwoo as a support, you'll need some items you need to know. Because of course, if you'd like to be a support, you won't bring, damage centric, damage focused weapons like this one. It's better to bring this, the Moon Shadow. This will increase the team's damage output because of the Lunar Eclipse passive that increases damage taken by 10%. You would also want to bring this, the Huntsman, if the boss especially is weak to light. There's a passive here that it increases the damage taken by 8%. But I remember there's another one. Hold on. I think it's on A5 maybe. Yeah, it's on A5. So it increases the damage taken by 16% and stacks up to 99 times, which is very good if you'd like to be a support Sang Jinwoo. And the stun, very good for making the enemies still and your other hunters can hit on it. Other good supporting weapon would be the Tethys Grimoire. It applies a freeze, another skill that can make the enemy, stunned. Plus, it will have this corrosion effect, the cold ice. And yeah, here's what I'm saying: the deep erosion, which increases the elemental weakness damage by 24%. Aside that, I haven't really been able to level that up, but it's more on fire. The Juicy Grilled Skewer is actually also good, but only if your focus is on the fire team. As you can see here on its passive, it can increase the team's fire damage and increase the team members' damage by 5% within the area. So if you will be using any element aside fire, they'll only get 5%, but if you do with the fire team, then they'll get a 10% total. And I guess that's it for the Sang Jinwoo support. Okay, I think that's it as well for this support refresher course. And just a quick summary. Support hunters are crucial to your daily progression or daily dungeon clearance. You'll need them to buff, heal, and cleanse your debuffs. The notable supports are first, a top 0, Min. The other 3 are Malin. No, yeah, Malin. Who's the other again? Gina. And I can't remember the last one. Ayla. Then you can also do Sanjinu support, but only on Power Destruction and Guild Boss, and if ever they provide new contents again in the upcoming future. I guess that's it. And yeah, that's it for this support refresher video. I hope you like it, and if you do, make sure to leave a like, comment, and share to your friends to let them refresh their knowledge about support hunters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.